What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. So today we're here with the KIZUNA Clash versus SAKAZUKI and Borsalino. This is a brand new KIZUNA unit, and this is not the type of unit that you can max out in one KIZUNA Clash. You have to actually play this over multiple months. I know a lot of people don't like it. I'm not a big fan of it either, but it is what it is, right? Nothing we can do about it. In this video today, I have 3 variations of each of the colors. I've got a free-to-play team. I've got a pretty good team as well, added on top of that. And then there's also a team utilizing the point booster Sengoku character, which I did pull off screen before the KIZUNA Clash started. So we have 3 different variations for each of the teams, so hopefully you enjoy this video today. So let's go ahead and jump into the breakdown of the brand newly released KIZUNA unit, which is the SAKAZUKI and Borsalino unit. This unit's actually pretty good. So this unit is a strength or a psi unit. We'll start off with SAKAZUKI. He is a strength fighter driven. Captain effect is 2.75 attack to fighter driven, 1.25 HP. To slasher driven, sorry. There's slasher driven boosters as a captain. So obviously the classes are various between the two. And he makes strength orders beneficial, so no real surprise there. And then you've got Kizaru, who is a psi slasher shooter. Again, driven slasher captain, makes psi slots matching, which is fine. Their actual dual captain is pretty good, 3.75 boost to driven and slasher, and strength and psi are both beneficial. And the special ability, which will go ahead and deal 100 times their attack in tightless damage to all enemies, and it ignores everything. It ignores base defense, it ignores all defensive effects, except for obviously normal attacks only or damage immunity, I think. And then it says if your captain is strength or psi, you boost the slot effects of driven and slashes by 2.75 times for 1 turn, and even if your captain is not a strength or psi type, you'll still get a 2-turn 2 times boost to slashes and driven characters, and they fuse for 3 turns as well, which is really nice for a dual unit too. And then their switch effect is also kind of nice as well, which will go ahead and change their own slot into matching. It reduces slot bind and special bind duration on your entire team by 1. So overall, I think this is a pretty solid unit, but of course, this is one of those units that will take many months to max out, unfortunately, but definitely one that you should consider to just keep maxing out. Make sure every KIZUNA, when the orbs are available, to make sure that it gets done. So that's the breakdown of the unit. I think they're really good. Let's go ahead now and jump into the KIZUNA Clash with 3 variations of each of the boss fights. Okay, so getting into these KIZUNA Clash clips. Now, first of all, these clips were recorded on my live stream that I just did not too long ago. We went ahead and just did them on the stream rather than me pre-recording them and then editing them later on. So that's why you will see clips from the stream like this instead of, you know, what we'd typically see in an older style video. But hopefully you guys still enjoy it, right? So with this free-to-play team, this is versus the Dex variation first. So on stage 2 here, you're up against Garp. Now, Garp will randomly bind one of your units for 6 turns. So, in order to combat that with a free-to-play team, I have the free-to-play Kara and the Colosseum Okiku. Both of those characters remove bind, so if either one of them get binded, you can still, you know, remove bind off of your team, which is important, which is good. Also, there's 4 turns of % damage reduction, which Colosseum Okiku can also counter, so that's also really good. We're using KIZUNA Moria as a captain here because it means that on the final boss stage, we're able to get a matching slot, which is very, well, not matching slots specifically, but a slot boosting effect. We have Raid Jinbei for color affinity. We've got Sanji and Luffy as a friend captain for an attack boost and a full board of matching slots. And of course, we've got the new free-to-play Kobe, which will give us a little bit of extra tickets for this fight. So all in all, a pretty simple free-to-play team, but of course, you know, it's not going to last you forever, but it's a decent team to use if you don't have anything else. Taking a look at the next variation now versus the Int boss. With this team, we are also using the Carrot once again, who's going to be a really nice unit for our team. We also have the treasure map Jinbei. Now, I do make a very slight error here because on the final boss stage, we're going to be using Kobe to remove the increased defense or the blue shield of the enemy. But the thing is Kobe actually removes your beneficial effects, and we have to go ahead and use Jinbei to remove our special bind on our team. So by using Jinbei to remove Special Bind, and then using Kobe to remove the increased defense, it actually means that it will remove our color affinity. But the chat was telling me, and I did find out later on, that the defense increase that the enemy has is not really that bad at all. So what I would advise is to either just replace Kobe with another defense remover, or to just attack normally and, use Kobe as long as you can, and then you can, switch out Kobe for whatever you want. The defense increase on the enemy is not that significant, so you don't really have to worry about it, which means you can still use Jinbei to give yourself the 2x color affinity boost, which is very, very nice. Also, utilizing this free-to-play Luffy to give ourselves a super typing is also pretty good. Definitely not a requirement, but definitely nice to have. And Treasure Map Vivi is really nice for taking care of the debuffs and giving us an attack boost on stage 2 against Smoker. Moving on to the final free-to-play team variation for this video against the Psy boss, which is definitely the most difficult one, because on the final boss stage, he actually revives, and after he revives, he will blow away one of your characters. So due to that, you're kind of shoehorned into having to use 6+ Capone on your team in some capacity. Because, even though he does revive with 21%, technically you could just bring Ambush Garp and you can use it and that will kill him. However, the thing is after he revives, he's going to go ahead and blow away one of your characters, which Capone's Big Father effect just completely counters. And because of that, I mean, you can technically run Capone and Ambush Garp on your team if you want to, but that is a little bit annoying to do that, but it does depend on your team composition here, of course. Another thing is to consider as well is that after a certain threshold or of their HP, like after a certain level of Kizuna, the boss will slightly change and actually inflict resilience on himself, which is why we have not Coliseum Kid, but Kizuna Kid, which will do end of turn damage. So that's the whole reason why Kizuna Kid is here in the first place. Plus he's got a really good captain effect, and we get special reversed, which we're able to reduce the character's cooldowns by using the Kid special, reducing that special with the captain with Coliseum Kizaru as well. The Kizuna, Boa, and Luffy is a great unit for amazing color affinity, full board of slots that actually will get locked. So again, very, very key. And then for this team being free to play, I do use V2 Raid Dofi to extend the duration of the attack and orb boost so that we can have a boost in the following turn after the enemy revives. But that's the breakdown of the free to play teams versus the current Kizuna clash. So let's go ahead and move on to a different variation of teams. So the next set of teams you guys are going to see here are what my teams were going to be before I actually pulled the Sengoku. So this team here is a Sweet Commander team with a friend Captain Odin. We are not proccing the super type of Odin because we do not have a character on our crew to do that. But we are able to use the Sweet Commander's super type, which will enable us to get -1 cooldown and also give us the super typing effect. Now, the main key unit on this team that you may think, why are we even using it, is Burundi World. Limited Rare Recruit Burundi World. Now, the really cool thing is that his cooldown is not that bad because he has a multi-stage special, and we only need stage 1. And what it does, it removes attack down completely. But the big key thing here is that it does damage, and because it does damage, we're able to use version 1 Akainu support on Burundi World, which gives us a full board of strength slots, which in turn allows us to use the Kozuki Odin special to change those into Wano slots. That's the whole reasoning behind it. You definitely don't need Burundi World, but having access to a character like that obviously is pretty good. We have Luffy Sanji for an attack boost, we have the Sweet Commanders for the color affinity and the chain boost, Odin for the orb boost. This team does a lot of damage. It is a very, very strong team. So this is definitely a solid team that, if my Sengoku team doesn't seem to be working out, this may be the next best team that I'm going to be going towards. Moving on up to the int variation once again. So with this team variation, we're using Luffy Sanji captain, friend Germa. And the thing that I didn't talk about very briefly about the Smoker boss, which is the stage 2 boss here, is that you're inflicted with the hunger debuff. I think it's 3 stacks of hunger. So Treasure Map Vivi, as we mentioned in the free-to-play team, is a really, really good unit because she actually gives you recovery orbs. You can get rid of the hunger debuff. But with Luffy Sanji, my one is rainbowed, so I actually completely get rid of the hunger debuff that we get inflicted here, which is good. And then we can just use the Rumble NL, which gets rid of the chain lock, which is nice. And then on the final boss stage, once again, we have Jinbei. But remember, if you use the combo of Jinbei and Kobe, do not go ahead and use Kobe special. You do not need to use Kobe special to remove the increased defense. The increased defense is not that significant. But with this team, we have the 2x color affinity with Jinbei. We have a 2.5 attack boost with Luffy Sanji. We have a 2.25 orb boost with either Germa or Law, depending on how you go. And because we'll have Law's set chain effect, and we'll have the Germa super type effect to get enhanced color affinity and their chain boosting effect, this team means business. This team will do a lot of damage towards the enemy. Very, very solid team if you have the applicable units. And now we move on to the final team of this set of teams. So this is versus the side boss once again, using double super type Katakuri. Every time we enter a Kizuna and we have to build an int-based team against the side boss, Katakuri is going to be one of those go-to characters because of his amazing effect to get a guaranteed conditional and the attack boost all in one unit. It is super, super nice. Now on turn 2 here, I do actually use a Katakuri special. However, in hindsight, I would definitely advise to save a Katakuri special for when the enemy revives on the final boss stage, so you can actually do a lot of damage when he actually revives. So this team is actually still really, really good. Also something to note, make sure you put Rayleigh support on the Luffy and Boa, because that will get rid of the 2 turns of despair on stage 2. In this team variation here, I actually had to stall it out because I forgot to put that support on. Very, very key to have that. But with all that being said, man, this team is 2x conditional, 2x attack, 2.25 color affinity, Halloween lore support as well, which will give you a 1.75 orb boost. So that obviously is relatively pay to win. You don't need the Halloween lore support, but man, does it make a big difference, that's for sure. And obviously Capone once again to get us to that low HP threshold to use Katakuri super type, and also giving us Big Father to reduce the effects of the enemy's blow away mechanics, which is obviously really, really annoying that you have to get around. But that's it for this team, and I'll see you guys in the final team sets. So now we talk about the final team set that I have in this video today. This is with Sengoku, the brand new Kizuna Rare Recruit Sengoku that I did pull for off screen. I did get him. It means that, tickets are going to be a lot easier to come by, but this is just hopefully giving you guys some inspiration. Potentially, if you find a Sengoku friend captain, you may want to go ahead and potentially use him instead. So this will give you guys some inspiration for that. But with this team here, against the Garb, of course, he's going to bind us, but if you have double Sengoku, it doesn't really matter because both of them have a special that will actually go ahead and remove bind and give you an orb boost. Chopper's still very good to get rid of the damage reduction, giving us an attack boost, adjacent orbs matching, of course. And on the final stage, we're going to have Luffy Sanji for a 2.5 attack boost. We're going to have Sengoku for a 2.25 orb boost. We have the Sweet Commanders for color affinity and a chain boost. And all that being said, it does a lot of damage, it gives you a lot of tickets, and that's pretty much how it all goes. So I'll leave you guys with the rest of this clip, and we'll pick things up with the final 2 teams. The next team with the Sengoku is versus Int, and this one is also really easy. Once again, utilizing that combination of Jinbei and Kirby. You do not need to use Kirby on the final stage, so do not worry about that. Now, we do have Shanks here as well, a really good unit. He's a cerebral unit, so he's boosted by Sengoku, gives us a 3.5 chain lock, which is quite nice. Jinbei for color affinity. We've got Luffy Sanji for a 2.5 attack boost, and obviously the 2.25 orb boost with Sengoku. Once again, lots of damage output. Not really too much else I need to say about this team. I'll leave you guys with the rest of this one, and we'll pick things up with the final team, which definitely needs a little bit of explanation. The final team of this video, the Sai Boss team once again. Now this team utilizes Katakuri captain and the Ace friend captain. Now you could definitely build teams with Sengoku friend and then Sengoku sub, but I felt this was just a little bit more comfortable as it does more damage over time. But either way, we have Ace as our captain here because he's a fighter and a shooter booster. Everyone on this team is either a fighter or a shooter, and because he has the captain effect to resist special reverse, which is what happens on the final stage. And in order to get around the resilience buff, which will eventually happen with this team, is I do have support Rare Recruit Suru attached to Sengoku. So on the final stage, when we use Sengoku special, it'll activate an end of turn buff for 3 turns, which means that it'll automatically get around the resilience of the enemy. So that's super key for this team. If you don't have that, you will have to replace a unit on this team with something like Halloween Doflamingo or Kizuna Kid. And once again, Kobe, because he's Kobe. We have Capone to get rid of the blow away, Ace for the special reverse, plus on the revive, we can use his special to get an attack boost as well. Katakuri for conditional and attack boost, color affinity, orb lock, full board of orbs with Boa and Luffy. And that's how this team gets the job done. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. And if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.